welcome. My name is Bradley Finkbeiner, and I am the logic teacher here at Rockbridge Academy. And it's my pleasure to share with you a bit about the logic course here and to help you understand how it fits into the overall Trivium. I have here a student with me who's going to solve a syllogism. A syllogism is a type of argument given to us by Aristotle, and there are actually 256 different ways of structuring one of these arguments, and only 24 of them are what we call valid. A valid argument would be an argument whose conclusion necessarily follows. Otherwise, it's invalid. Now, Emily has learned a number of rules, 5 to be exact, with which to analyze this argument and to test it for validity. What she'll be doing for you is looking through the argument to find its structure, and she'll extract that structure out using letters to symbolize the argument. While Emily's solving the syllogism, I'd like to give you an idea of how the logic class functions here at Rockbridge Academy. I'm going to pull a page from Plato. In one of Plato's dialogues, he has us imagine giving directions to a lost tourist, particularly to the town of Larissa. This tourist is trying to decide whether to go road A or road B, and they ask us which way to go. We're not really sure. We think it's road A, and we tell them we think it's road A, but we also tell them that we're not sure. Well, desperate, the traveler takes our advice and goes down road A, and sure enough gets to the town of Larissa. What's interesting about this example is that it's a case of having true belief without knowledge. That's a very important distinction for Plato. And I think he might actually describe the transition from grammar to dialectic as that, a transition from true belief to knowledge. If you think about it, what really is the value of knowledge if you have true belief? Why not just fill our students' heads with orthodoxy, with correct belief, true belief? Teach them Caesar crossed the Rubicon, that Jesus died on a cross, that the moon is a satellite around the earth. Just fill their heads with true beliefs, and that should be sufficient. Well, as Plato would go on to say, the problem with true beliefs is that they don't always stay put. To explain this principle, he used another analogy. In Greek culture, the wealthy would put very expensive sculptures in their front yards. Now, obviously, an expensive sculpture has great value, but for only as long as it stays put. So what they did is chain those down in their yards. And Plato says that true belief is a lot like an expensive sculpture. It has value, but for only as long as it stays put. In this case, in the minds of your children. So the question might arise, what takes our true beliefs? Well, the answer is obviously complicated, but I've got one word for you: college. College takes true beliefs. When our students go off to college, they're bombarded with all sorts of opposing ideas to the faith that they have received here and have been instructed in. And those challenges from their professors, from their fellow students, have a way of taking away those true beliefs, unsettling them. And so it's important for our students to learn how to chain those true beliefs down. And that is what we begin teaching them in the logic phase. Now, the word logic comes from the word logos. And it was Plato who said that we tie down or tether down or chain down true beliefs with logos, with logic, with evidence, argument. We teach in the logic stage how to define terms. We teach them how to identify assumptions, the rules for formulating arguments, for testing inferences, both deductive and inductive, and a whole set of other very important skills for being able to both evaluate arguments and to construct them themselves. In this particular case, Emily has identified the form of this argument using letters to represent the terms. And then she went on to apply the rules in her mind. And if I can ask you, Emily, what exactly is the broken rule here, number 1?
Rule 1 states that the middle term must be distributed at least once in either of the premises.
Now, that rule probably has no meaning for you, but it does for her, as do the other 4 rules. The nice thing about this is, rather than having to memorize all of the different kinds of valid arguments, she has at her disposal the rules, which she can apply very quickly. And for any given syllogism that comes her way now, she can dissect it, determine the structure, and then determine if the conclusion follows necessarily or not. Now, the dialectic phase is only the 2nd phase of the trivium, obviously preceding the rhetoric phase, which in a sense continues both the grammar and the dialectic emphasis, but flowers it into the study of how to persuade. Students in the dialectic stage aren't quite there yet. They're learning how to argue, they're learning how to define terms, identify fallacies, and so forth, but they haven't yet developed the natural ability to express themselves with elegance and with precision and persuasiveness. And that is what we focus on in the rhetoric phase. So I would encourage you to check out the video of the rhetoric phase here at Rockbridge Academy. Thank you.